All right, it's knife time. Lately, I was looking into my closet and I saw my old vintage Hawaiian shirt collection. So I've been popping those on from time to time. They're nice and cool in the heat. This is my favorite. I call it Tides of Blood. Look at that. Little boats in the ocean of blood. Remember, anybody ever shows up on your shoreline, start acting weird. Get down. Show them what's happening. All right, today we are finally going to do the different knife lock videos. The ones I like and the ones I don't like. And, well, it's not that I don't particularly like them. It's just there's knife locks I trust and there's knife locks I do not trust so much. So, we're going to get into that. Now, what got me even thinking about knife locks was one time I was in the mountains, and long story short, I was having to dig a hole. And I was like, my gear, my pack with my real knife and everything was in my Jeep, and I'd hiked out, and all I had on me was my folding pocket knife. And this story reflects no ill will towards this knife company or its design or anything else, because this was like one of my favorite knives, and I carried it like without fail every day for like a year. And when these first came out, I told all my buddies, hey man, if you want a good solid rockin' knife, man, you need to get one of them petrified fishes. And this is a petrified fish beluga. And man, this thing has like this is close to it's like very bushcrafty for a folding pocket knife. It is Bowler K110 steel, which I believe I paid sub $50 for this knife, and I believe they're still around that price. I'm not sure, I haven't checked in a while, but this is a petrified fish beluga. They call it the PFP01. Yeah, it's in that Bowler K110. It has a reversible deep carry pocket clip, and it has its little name on there, beluga, you know, like the caviar, you know, fish eggs. Oh hell yeah, we're so above everybody else, we can eat fish eggs that cost $500 for a fucking teaspoon. Yay. So yeah, these petrified fish knives, they're pretty groovy. This has like a maker's mark or something on there, I can't remember, but anyways, I like the petrified fish knives. And you know, it's a big old knife for a front flipper, and I can accomplish it kinda. I'm just not a front flipper, too good of a front flipper guy. But, so, I had this knife, and I was digging a hole, and even though it's open in the back here, that's something you want on a liner lock, is an open back. Anyways, see that lock bar in there? Allah Lockbar, Allah Lockbar. It's the Allah Lockbar. All right, so that is a liner locks lock bar, and it goes over and it keeps the knife from closing. You see that? And then you press it over and you can, yeah. And this is a well-made liner lock, but I was digging that hole and I wasn't paying attention, and the moist dirt and twigs and whatever, maybe pebbles and everything, worked their way up in as I was digging that little hole, and they pushed that over, and I literally almost donated my pinky finger to the forest that day. I mean, because I was, and this thing said, ka-cha-wang. Oh! Man, I was cut like into the bone. It was pretty brutal. My Jeep looked like a slaughterhouse for a couple days after that. Boy, I bled, and I was like 3 hours away from my house too. But anyways, and after that day, I was like, man, you know, geez, I never thought of a knife lock failing me like that. That was horrible, and it's no fault to the knife itself, but that's when I started looking for a different locking system for a knife. And, you know, I have knife knowledge. I know that there's better knife locking systems out there. Oh, and to prove that there's no hard feelings about the petrified fish, I got another one, the same exact knife afterwards, but with the Tonto blade, 'cause it looks so Warcraft. Look at that. It's a beluga with the Tonto blade. Yeah. Oh, and it is the Buller K110 as well. It's just a different marking because this is a newer. But yeah. So, and I've never carried this. I've never done anything with this. This is just in my collection because I really dig that Warhammer looking stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so after that, I went through stuff. I went back to the basics because a good old something you can't go wrong with ever is a lockback. And whether, you know, there are some cheaper lockbacks that they don't lock in too good, but you know what? You can trust a good name brand lockback. This was a gift from my cousin, and it is a Rough Rider, and that's actual like full copper little slabs in there, and this is a chunk and buffalo horn, water buffalo horn in there, laid in there as well. But this is a really chunky, nice made little knife. I enjoy it. Rough Rider, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, they have these made for them in the land of sorrow nets. But if you've seen any of my other videos, Rough Riders are they're a good economical knife, and they're entertaining and they're fun to collect. But anyways, so I went to, specifically after that happened to me, I started carrying a Buck Ranger 112, and in lockback form, because you can trust a good old Buck lockback. Not that I've ever dug any holes with that, and I have not dug a hole with a knife since, and unless it's a fixed blade, I probably never will. Again, I learned my lesson the hard way. But I put a thumb stud on this. You can get these like packs of 3 or 4 for like 12 bucks on Amazon or eBay or whatever. When I was a kid, these were a big deal when they came out. They were a specific brand. They were called a One-Arm Bandit, and they were like $39.95 in the back of Guns and Ammo magazine in the 80s or something like that. And it was like, dude, I'd be able to open my knife with one hand. That'd be amazing, you know. So yeah, so this was my carry for a while, and then I went through some other things. I had a Cole Benchmade bailout for a while. I really enjoyed that knife. Do not, if they still have a glass breaker on the back of the bailout, don't trust that. I got locked in a car that had no door handles on the inside in August, and it was like 100 out, and that car was like 160 inside, and I thought I was gonna die, and I'm sitting in there beating the hell out of the windows with that glass breaker. Did not work. Fuck that thing. But the knife was cool. This was a gift. I would never buy one of these. This is a Benchmade bug out. See, it's got an old friend got this made for me with my name on it, Donnie Junk. This is a bug out or a mini bug out. I don't know. I don't care enough to know. I'm not a big Benchmade fan. You're overpriced crap, in my opinion, Benchmade. Highly overpriced crap. You can get shit like this at Walmart for $10. That's stronger. Anyway, may not hold as an edge or whatever, but this, I can literally break this in half right now. Snappity. No liners, nothing, just crap. But I started carrying a bailout, and you know, because hey, look, it's ambidextrous, you know, it's fiddle fidgery, fucking fiddly thing. But fact of the matter is, and I've seen it happen before on a Benchmade. Now nowadays, when you buy these knives, now that the patent is up on the access lock, or crossbar lock, clutch lock, gripper, ripper, anal pripper, fucking whatever lock they want to call it, that lock And I guarantee you, if you get a knife that has this lock and you carry it long enough and you use it long enough and it's in your gritty, grimy, linty pockets every day, even if you service it and clean it and take care of it, eventually one of what Benchmade calls inside here, and I don't know what any other company calls it, but it's all basically the same thing. They give you spare ones with these a lot of the Chinese knives that use this type of lock, but the fact of the matter is one day that spring will fail on you. And if it's a Chinese made one and they sent you an extra set of springs, well, more power to you. And if you're at your house and you're not in the middle of nowhere and you're in need of a knife that has a lock on it, you know, cool. More shit to fail. So yeah, it's a handy lock, it's handy dandy. I have several knives with that type of lock. Even this Best Tech man, I played with this so much within the first week, the thumb studs literally broke off this knife from using it, opening it and closing it. And so I kind of dremeled it out and made kind of like a cool little oval hole. Oh, it was orange originally. I dyed it purple, but left the backspace for orange. Purple and orange are kind of cool. But yeah, you know, no, it's a good, see, crap. You know, crossbar lock. It is a good, if you're in your city day and your city life and all that stuff, and you're not worried about it, you can go to Walmart or Big Five or Shields or Cabela's or wherever, Spicy Jack's truck stop, and get you another knife. Well then, hey, fuck it. Carry yourself a clutch lock. I myself wouldn't rely on it as my main knife. Another reason yet I don't like liner locks. I mean, I have liner lock knives, several liner locks in my collection, and I will still collect more probably as the time goes on, but this happens a lot on cheap ones. This is literally a $2 truck stop counter knife, and I just have this because like one of the first times I opened it, this happened, and I save this as an example. Sometimes the lock bar goes well beyond its point of locking and gets jammed and stuck, and then you have a permanently open knife, which, hey, it's a knife. So there's that. I got into button locks for a while. This was my all-time favorite pocket knife. I've carried this for a couple years. This is the White Mountain Knives exclusive Towser K in brown rich light with the button lock in 3V steel. Super bitchin'. Any Towser K is super bitchin', even the liner lock ones. The little one they made that was a little bit smaller, the Towser S, I believe, for White Mountain Knives, titanium scales, and it had a crossbar lock. Those are pretty cool as well. But this was my favorite, but sometimes the bearings in the pivot would act up and it'd get kind of wompy and crunchy and weird. And then if you get a button lock and knife, and when I say button lock, I mean a plunge button lock knife. There's just a little plunger, it goes in, it's got a spring, and it goes through and it goes into the side of the knife. And see, I mean it, see this, it's starting to fail. The spring eventually will go dead if you use a button lock long enough. The spring in that button will eventually go dead, and you're either gonna have a knife, yeah, it's gonna fail on you eventually. So this is not a forever pocket knife. Could not be a desert island pocket knife, and I like that knife. So yeah, button locks are out, and when I say that button locks are out, I include autos. This is a strong bad motherfucker right here, let me tell you. I don't even like Emerson, but the ProTech Emerson CQC7, this is the operator with the Tritum Glow. Green Lantern Gang. Green Lantern Gang, gang, gang. And this has been through some hell and back with me. Boom. I'll tell you that story one of these days. Yeah. And see, eventually, if I use this every day long enough, this steel plunge button lock basically would eventually wear and oval out this aluminum handle, and rendering this knife not worthless, but a toy. I know that because I've done that. not with a ProTech, but with a very high dollar side opening automatic knife. Not to mention springs go and they wear out. Now here's where we come to what was my favorite lock setup for many a year, and that would be a titanium frame lock. Titanium frame lock. And my first titanium frame lock was a Strider Knives Incorporated. And let me tell you, frame lock, they can be a desert island knife. You know what I'm saying? Because the more you grip that, the more the thing goes over. The only negative thing about a frame lock is when you are closing it, your fingers can be in path of the blade. Titanium frame lock, very good setup. Frame locks in general. But a titanium frame lock that does not have a steel insert to match the face of the knife blade where it locks up is not a viable lock option. And where some knives will work like an old school break action shotgun, and as years go better, they will work better together, and you'd think they would work better together, opening and closing. The tensile and the hardness between this blade steel and the titanium will lead to failure of that. And I don't care if it's $100 China-made titanium frame lock without a steel insert for the lock face, or a $1,150 titanium frame lock. You will have a titanium tambourine if it does not have a steel insert. That is a detent. That is not a steel insert. This is a true titanium to steel frame lock, and it is a fucking tambourine. And it was $1,150 10 years ago, around there, 8 years ago. Hear this? Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. Yeah. Maraca. Spoon. We could do the spoons. Get Soundgarden up in here. Yeah, so if titanium frame lock does not have a steel insert, this is going to be your life eventually if you use that knife on a daily basis and use it. This is my daily carry for a while. All right. Now, this is a Blade Runner system, BRS thresher, designed by, I believe, Gavco. He designed some really rad stuff. This would be my everyday carry, faux show still. I really like this knife, but there's one problem. The ramp for when you're closing or opening this thing, dude, it's like hitting a brick wall on this thing. The detent ramp is just non-existent, and it's like and that may be a pet peeve thing, and I thought after a while it would maybe break in. Nope, they just didn't engineer it right. And I've heard other people say the same exact thing and get rid of these because of that. Weird detent ramp, amazing knife. This is a Mixed Rider Cousin Performance Model Jibble, by the way, aka the tambourine. Now, for a lock you can absolutely, positively trust your damn life on, the Cold Steel Triad lock, and it's a lockback. Now, I've noticed with the cold steels, especially the more you use them, the more you get to play with them. You know, I can operate this knife one hand, ambidextrous, no problems. Opening, closing, no issues, one hand. Okay? I notice a lot of people that are of the tactical school, they don't really like lockback type knives because, oh, it's a one-handed knife. It's a two-handed knife. No, they are not. You just gotta learn how to use them. The SR1 Lite, man, best bang for buck folding beast of a pocket knife out there. Like one of the few pocket knives I would trust on a desert island. Really. I've hacked through metal and everything else with this. Like HVAC shit and some chimney shit and stuff. And not like bolts or nothing. But yeah, big, chunky, heavy duty. 8 series stainless, but when it's that thick, you'll go through just about anything. Good lock. They literally, these triad locks, man, I'm not sure what this one holds, but I watched a video the other day and the guy put 750 fucking pounds hanging off this shit before the lock broke. So yeah, if you're gonna trust a folding knife, the triad lock is the one to trust. I would trust that. This is an educational video for the people that pop in and might not know that much about knives. I don't know, I'm sure if you're here, you probably know a lot about knives. Maybe not. Maybe this is helping somebody learn some knowledge. Here's another example of a cold steel triad lock. This is a Espada medium. This is not made anymore. This is in CTS XHP. This is a very cool knife in my opinion. And the cool colorway, I guess you would call it gray with the black coating. Cool knife. Unbeatable lock. Period. Period. I mean, strength-wise. Strength-wise, if you want the strongest bang for buck knives on the planet are cold steel triad lock. Period. Bet my Harley's on that shit. So, the only thing that even could compete would be like the Extrema ratio that has the pin that goes in there, but that's not a system. All right, and the other lock system that I believe you can pretty much count and trust and not worry about nothing and use it freely is the Spyderco compression lock, which is a top liner lock. There's a reason why this is one of the most popular knives on the earth. This is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2, as most of you already know. This is a special one in crew wear, CPM crew wear, purple G10, I believe, through DLT Trading, if I recall. Maybe, I'm not sure. I think so. But I've had it for a while. I always have a Spyderco PM2 in my collection because every time I've got rid of one, I'm like, oh, I need another PM2. Had a few militaries as well, but the compression lock, whatever model it is on a Spyderco, know that that is a good fidgety. Your fingers aren't in the pathway when you're opening and close it. There's a reason why this is well loved by so many high-speed, low-drag individuals around the world, and mall ninjas, and barbecue New Balance dads. I see you. All right. Excellent, excellent knife. One of the all-time greatest folding knives out there. And I used to make fun of them before I ever owned one. And then back in the days when I got one, I realized, hey, okay, it's truly a great knife. And I'm a believer. Along with this style of lock, and this has been a new thing, companies have been doing this for a few years now. A lot of Chine companies, the Ching Chong companies, and I just did a video on this little drop bear. It is a button actuated top liner lock, which I think is the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees. It's cool. I dig it. Been using it. I've been using it. Yeah. Yes, so 2 lessons here. Don't dig a hole with a folding knife. You might almost lose your fucking finger. So that is that. So locks that are very good would be the titanium frame lock. If it's a steel frame lock, you're cool because it's going up against steel. All right, no issues. It's going to wear together, work well. Boom, good. Frame lock, steel, or if it's titanium, you want the steel insert. Frame lock, good. Folding knife mechanism. cold steel triad lock. It's a little bit different than a normal lockback. Good lock. Lockback, good old lockback. Good lock, reliable, trustworthy. Remember, we start getting into springs and stuff, lots of springs, little springs. Shit gets weird. Springs go flat, springs go wonky, springs bend out of shape, springs break. That goes on all types of knives, all types of these knives with these little springs, the omega springs. They go wonky, they break. All right. All right. I've been doing a lot with the old K-bar. I really messed it up doing the Pagliacci is a moron video. Man, when I hit my stump here, oof, I did a number on this thing. So I fixed it up, and I've been using it and giving it some love, and been using it in kitchen duty and everything duty, and yeah, it's almost like, I'm not sure if it's I think it might be like a cursed object now, because it's been being used in an astral projection project, unbeknownst to me till the other day, but we'll get into that in another day. Hope y'all have a great night. It is Wednesday, so there's that. I'm gonna go hang out with some goats for a while and watch some westerns, maybe. I don't know. I've been on the subject lately of desert island stuff with one of the people I have conversations with, like, what's your desert island album, or what's your desert island comedy movie? And so I've been thinking of desert island knives, and I know my desert island folding knife, and lately I've been trying to figure out my desert island fixed blade. So we'll get into that one of these days soon. This is a long ass video, and if you're still here, I appreciate it. And tell me what knives you trust and like and use in the comments below. And yeah, because let's have a conversation. Have a great night.